movie review here for, what's this film called? Gladiator 2. Now, it's cold. Sorry. I haven't seen the first one, but the second one here, I think it can stand alone as like a separate movie. I get Russell Crowe's character. I don't know if he was his father or he protected him from being killed or something. I don't know really what role he plays in the movie. But what was I gonna say? But yeah, the guy, whatever that actor's name, this new guy is Russell Crowe's what is he called? That's his not Russell Crowe, but like he's the heir to the throne. That kid that we see that he runs away, the little blonde boy, and the mom says, "Yeah, you had to go away, son." So I guess it makes sense. You saw the first one, and then you see the second one. It kind of like, okay, yeah, that's his son. Of course, that's of course that's the kid, and he's alive. And Denzel Washington's character, I guess he's a rich, wealthy landowner dude, but he's like a guy that came from the outside. He shows the mark, so he know like her father used to own him, and he said, "Wow, look how far I've come. You know, I used to be a slave. I used to be owned by this guy. I used to have to fight in the arena maybe himself because he can fight just like the other guy." But and he said, now I'm like in bed in the emperor's, and I'm fucking, because he even has like, it's like two redheaded kids, right? And you can see like, I guess maybe they're around the same age, right? I think they're supposed to be twins, these two guys, but one is definitely more dominant and domineering than the other. And that one that's more dominant, he gets killed by the younger brother, right? The younger brother with the pet monkey kills him, but we can see like it's really by the hand of Denzel Washington's character that kills him. That's really the hand that kills him. And that was like, wow, brutal, you know. But you saw it coming, and then when he kills him, we put like a screw in his ear. It's like, of course he did. You can see it coming. So the movie's predictable, I guess. It's not a predictable script, and it's easy to follow. And of course, he makes friends with this dude. He's like, "Oh yeah, I used to fight, but now I do like medical shit. And you know, obviously I came from somewhere else, but I'm Roman now because I met my wife. She's from Britain. And like, you know, now my kids have blue eyes. Like my kids are all mixed up, and like I'm Roman now." And so I guess he represented the people that, yeah, we came in and we kind of just accepted that we're gonna stay here. I like that there's this dude, I guess he's like the leader of the city that they came from in North Africa. This gentleman, he gets taken, you know, prisoner along with our main character. And how do you call? It's kind of funny, right? This main character guy, or there's leader guy, we're in this like Mayship, like we're in the outskirts of Rome in the very beginning, sort of the film, towards the beginning when we first arrive in Italy. And he like resounds his fate. He even says on the boat, like, "I'm too old to be doing anything that these people are gonna make me do. Like, I might as well just die already. Like, fuck this shit." And so he kind of does that, and you know, the bamboo bites him in the neck, and we're like, "Oh, that's bad. That's a bad injury. Surely he's gonna die." But his friend, you know, the main character, he can't render aid to him. He can't render aid to him because then the baboon starts attacking him. And then even funnier with this baboon, like he starts getting aggressive. There's this one scene where he like gets on his knees and he starts growling back at the baboon, and it almost like makes the baboon sort of like afraid of him. Actually, it got kind of scared of him. It's like, whoa, this guy's intense. This is an intense human ape thing, whatever this thing I'm fighting, right? It's not like they know who you are, but that was funny. There's in the film, like that, so the woman, that's his mom, that woman. And like, of course, Denzel Washington's character kills her. Of course he kills her. Like you just saw it coming. Like, yeah, of course he's gonna kill her. I like that there's these politician guys that get locked up with her. I don't know how they found out that they're part of the conspiracy, but to overthrow. But I guess they did. And we get to see one of them get his throat slit, but presumably all the other ones got killed. Everybody got killed. We're at the brink. Rome's at the brink. Apparently, I think it's been 16 years. Rome's at the brink of basically collapsing within this 16-year span because this other guy, Marcus Aurelius, which I think is like a real name. I think that was a real character in like that lived, right? But yeah, these two tyrant emperors come into power, and they're just horrible, and they're like running the country to the ground, basically. I guess if Rome falls, then the empire falls in some sort of sense. And well, I guess maybe word travels around, hey, there's no like big subject, but that's the whole thing, right? It's how does a kingdom like this work? Is it just like some overlord comes and says, hey, you got to pay money to the king to take this money from you? Like, how much oversight do they really have over like this empire? And then I like when Pedro Pascal's character, he goes through these, he's like kissing ass to them basically, but even he's getting fed up with it, because they tell him, these two kings, these two emperors, they tell him like, oh, we want to get India and Persia under our ring. We also want them to be our subjects. And he tells them like Rome has many subjects, like as if to say, you already have so many people being forced under your wing, and like it's a lot to manage. It's not easy managing such a large kingdom. You're already doing a bad job here. Like, why do you want to expand this? You want me to go there on these long wars to conquer people, and like, I don't know, I guess set up say he tells his wife like, oh, we had to burn the bodies. You can hear the woman and the people, it's the town folks mourning their dead. And I guess in that moment, it's like, this is kind of the same rinse, wash, repeat. We go to some place, we take it over, and then we come back home with some gold, some treasure. We give it to these guys. What did they just kind of hoard it around? I mean, what did they do with all this gold and stuff? Did they spend it? Well, did they just pay hired help to help them? And then they say, hey, we'll help you, but you got to give some of your gold that you get from these wars. Like, how does it work? How does the economy work? What does it mean to be rich exactly in like ancient times? I don't know. It's kind of funny. And I'm thinking about it. The movie's it's rated R. It's got violence. I'm surprised it didn't have really all that much like sexual-ish scenes. I thought maybe they would have did that because it's Rome. They make some jokes about, there's one joke with the Denzel Washington where he talks about like, I guess homosexuality, kind of hint at homosexuality in a joking manner. And he's like, oh yeah, sometimes boys are my taste too. And, and I said maybe that's a jab. Maybe that joke was sprinkled in there because the ancient times they have those very questionable. I don't know if you know this is like a true thing. Maybe this is a misconception, right? The whole like putting a young boy under your wing type thing, and maybe that's why they made that joke. The fucking that Denzel Washington's character, he figures out that this guy, that he's not native to that city in North Africa. That he's not a native North African, right? Because he recites this poem with this other dude that he kills him in front of the emperor. I guess to show him off, like, hey, look at my gladiator. It's like pretty good fighter. And when they have that scene, I like that he doesn't tell him. He's like, why does my past matter if my future is to fight on your behalf and potentially die in that ring? Like, I thought that was funny, right? That he tells him that. And so we don't get, well, we can just figure out his future anyway from the flashbacks and the fact that he's already an established character in the other film. But Denzel Washington's character, besides the fact that he was owned by him, we don't get to know like his real non-Roman name. Maybe he did say actually in that one scene. I don't remember. Don't recall. I like, my favorite scene in the film is when he chops his arm off. He slices it off. He's got something in the water. He's hitting him, but like he wears his dad's old armor plate. And his armor plate obviously protects him from being stabbed and bludgeoned. Because then, if he didn't have that plate, he would have killed him right in the river, and that would have been over. It would have been it, right? And the armies would have been fighting. I like that the armies, they don't start fighting. They stop, and they kind of watch this fight unfold. And when they see the victor comes out, and he's like, hey, I'm going to bring peace to Rome. Like, we're not going to fight anymore. Then I guess there was no war, and that was it. It was over. But, what was it called? Yeah, he comes out of the water, and he gets like these vision flashbacks of this underworld place. First he saw his wife go there, and his wife went on the boat, and then she didn't look back at him or anything. So I guess that was a symbol, like the wife is gone. But then he goes back. We don't see him look at anybody, but he hears his mom's voice like, hey, be strong, son. And so that gives him the strength he needs to like slice his arm off. Then he slices him like in the chest area, and he just falls in the water, and presumably he just bleeds to death. And they had this nice scene where they showed Denzel with his arm up and like blood squirting out from his forearm. That was a pretty cool scene. I thought that was like well animated ish, and so like nice. That was nice. And I even said it in the day, like, nice. That's what I'm talking about. Like, fucking kill that guy. He's horrible. But yeah, it was a nice movie. It was a nice watch. We don't get many scenes of Rome per se. I guess no. The main focus is the Colosseum. So you can only see it in one spot. I think he wins like 2 fights before the main fight. So I can see this movie. People will say this movie like maybe it fell short in some regards. It's like there's 2 fights to like kind of prove that he's the head honcho guy before we get to the main juicy bits. But I think the movie's already like almost 2 hours long, just about. So, you know, how much can you really put into it? I did enjoy it. It was a good watch. Was it predictable? Yes, it was predictable. Did it subvert the narrative? Like, no, right? It was just, but it was a nice watch nonetheless. And I liked the performances. I thought they were good. And you got to take there's this part in the movie where this wife, she's doing like these secret meetings to plot against the emperors, and there's like this little stone in the wall, and she presses it opens the door. So I was like, got me laughing. It was like the not subverting, but like taking creative liberty, where like, oh, there's this secret passageway, and if you push this stone, a mechanism somewhere does something, the door opens up. And I don't know, I just thought that was funny. I found that kind of amusing and funny, right? With it's a period piece film, but like it doesn't have to be historically accurate all the way. So we can have a scene like this where we press a button, and I guess maybe even the catapults. I'm not sure how historically accurate the catapults are, but they did make for a nice visual scene where they're throwing fire giant jug things at their ships, and then that seemingly, I guess one of them ships, it crashes into like the hull of the ship, and then it creates like an inferno within the ship. And I like that we stick with that scene for a minute, and we see people like burning. But then I'm like, how the hell what did it spark in that hull that like it immediately became an inferno? Because some of the other ships, they got hit and like they didn't start like a big fire just imploded inside it. I like that Pedro Pascal's character, his wife tells him like, hey, you got to protect my son because, that's my son out there, and I already failed him once, and I want to fail him again. And so I guess but even though, and he saw that he wants to kill him, right? But even after seeing this, he does actually do, I guess, what his wife would want him to do, which is protect the son, or like at least not kill the son in front of his wife, because they find out about the plot to overthrow him. And of course, the 2 kings, they got to do some sort of death thing. But then I guess they were expecting him to die, and he doesn't die. And he has this like really heartfelt moment with him where he bows down to his king, right? And he says, I would have died for your father. And he shows him respect in return. So then he orders his soldiers to kill him, and they do kill him. They just load his body with arrows. This pisses off the crowd, because even the main character gets up and he's like, if his life was worth nothing, remember, this is the general. This is the guy that did all this glorious fighting for them. His life didn't matter in the end. Oh my God, wait, your life matter? Mind you, I mean, he did try to overthrow them, but still. And so that gets all the people riled up. But maybe the people are already riled up. They're already pissed at the 2 guys. And so they just needed some sort of catalyst to get it started. And so like it was just all downhill from there. So I guess when, Denzel Washington's character sees that happening, it's like, well, you might as well get the ball rolling now, because it's over. It's like, it's a done deal. That's it. It's it's now or never. Yeah, Gladiator 2 movie review. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was a good watch. Thank you for listening.